Hey y'all, I'm Kennedy. Thought I should introduce myself before I talk about this concept that I've been fascinated with and have been trying to perfect for the past week. But yeah, before I get into that, I just wanted to kind of talk about myself real quick and just talk about triads in general and kind of like where I come from so I can kind of catch up to speed on the progress of triads. Um, Years ago, triads at one point were curved, and that was kind of the versions that were coming out at the time. And I was playing with those and thought they were really cool. But I come from a poi background originally, and moved into double staves, and so really knew a lot of uh, you know hand movements and tech from those props. So when I kept playing with the curve spines, I just kept visualizing, like what I could do if they were straight and not curved. So I asked Jay, the creator of the curved spine triads that were coming out in the community at that point, um, if he, could make me a set that he didn't curve the spines. And he was down. He said that the curving the spines was one of the hardest things. So he was like, "I'll make you a set, man, and just let's see what they're like." And actually, this right here is that original set, um, which I think is really cool because uh, this right here kind of started this whole new niche in the triad community, and I really just think that personally that's really cool because a lot of you have joined this group, uh, playing with these straight line triads, and just the tech around them is a lot of fun, as you can see. And so when I took a long hiatus away from spinning, uh, when I came back recently, it's just amazing to see the growth and the progress that everybody has made with these. And I'm just super excited to get back into it and really start collaborating with everybody that has been exploring these, as much as I wish I have been for the past 4 years. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the topic that I want to talk about today, and yeah, see what you guys think. All right. So, the concept that I've been fascinated with really just kind of relates to my background that I talked about, that comes from spinning double staves and poi. The thing about triads is if this is your first prop, welcome to one of the most techy and complex props there are. And that's not to say that you can't, excel and learn the prop. You would just greatly benefit from also learning poi or double staves or fans. Just kind of branch out into these other two-handed props. So that way you can share a lot of those hand paths and tech from those, and really take advantage that everything the triads can do for you. So what I really want to talk about today, though, is just kind of controlling the triads and getting familiar with how to kind of incorporate flower paths from other props. And it all just kind of depends maybe on your background and how you kind of want to view the triad. And I'm going to talk about that right now, actually, too. So the concept that I'm going to be explaining, I've been fascinated with just controlling my spine grip. And spine grip is any time that you are just holding on to a single spine. And there's a difference between a loose spine grip where you're kind of spinning the other two spines that you are not holding, and then there's a tight spine grip where you're trying to control that spine. And that's kind of a loose term too, though, because I don't want to confuse you too much. Because a tight spine grip, it just basically means that you're holding onto a spine and that you're trying your best not to have these rotate at the moment. So you want to try to keep that triad in plane the whole time, right? So how I kind of view it, coming from a double staff background, is whenever I'm holding onto a spine, I'm kind of viewing it like this, right? So it's like I'm holding onto that double staff and my pinky wick is that spine wick, if that makes sense, right? And so in my mind, I'm kind of picturing that the other part of the double staff is coming out of the triad like that, right? So when I would do a 4-petal flower with the double staff, that's kind of what I was trying to do with the triad. But there was something that I realized. It's a lot pretty. It's a lot more prettier. A lot prettier. Anyways, I think it looks a lot better if you actually do an 8-petal. And when I was saying in the comments before that an 8-petal with double staves is really a 4-petal with triads, this kind of goes back to the theory that we're trying to develop around triads, I think, and it just kind of depends on how you want to look at it. So, and let me dive into that too, so I can kind of explain. So first, an 8-petal with double staff is essentially one wick is doing that 4-petal, and your pinky side wick is doing every diagonal petal, right? And again, I have to clarify that in my hiatus, that muscle memory is amazing, but brain memory has kind of failed me on a lot of my knowledge on the things that I used to know. So if I'm explaining these things wrong, or if I'm using the wrong terminology, please let me know in the comments below. But yeah, so that's an 8-petal with a double staff. So if you can master that, if you can kind of consider that if this was your pinky side wick on your double staff, and then you had another one, so that pinky side wick is going to hit those diagonals, right? And then your other side is going to hit the cardinal points. And the more I played with this concept, the more I started to kind of realize too that the feel of this, when you kind of speed it up, because of the weight that these two wicks have compared to here, oh hey, quick Kiki interruption. I know. Anyways, the weight distribution on these two side wicks right here, when you speed that motion up, feels a lot like poi, just because of how you kind of have to finesse it to get to each cardinal point. And so when I kind of started to play with that, then I really just started to try to just put myself almost in like poi mode and start to play with my flowers that I know and love from poi. And that's when I realized the power of the reel, right? Because when you get comfortable with being able to do a basic reel And then when you start to focus on, okay, so every time I hit a cardinal direction, the two wicks that I'm not holding should be facing out. You can start to really kind of play with just the control there of, you know, doing your anti-spins and in-spins of all your flower work, from either double stabs or poi, however you kind of want to consider it. So that's when you can start to get into some fun flowers, right? And again, I have not perfected this. This is kind of a concept that I want to perfect and be able to have down, so that way, you know, I can really make this look good. And I think the control of triads is really important, because initially, what does everybody do when you hand them the triads? You know, they're gonna spin it, and there's a lot of cool stuff you can do there. But you can kind of achieve that same effect with a lot more control, with being able to reel it. And then you know at every point that you hit that cardinal, you know which way the triad is facing, and you can stop it. And then that's when you can go into your relations real easy, back into flower work, do your stalls like you would for poi, you know, all that good stuff. Oops, kind of was holding the wrong wick there. But yeah. So how can you start practicing this? Traditionally, I found that actually kind of letting gravity do the work for you, and kind of coming down from that top point. So this pink wick is going to hit that middle point as you're swinging it down, and then you're going to come out to that cardinal direction, and then same one more step, diagonal down. So when you get used to that too, you can kind of let it free flow with gravity until you hit that bottom point. Now going up is a little bit more tricky, and that will take some practice, but it's definitely doable. And then you could try to go all the way around, and you'll notice that there are points where you kind of have to weave those wicks through your body to be able to get the shape that you're trying to do, right? So yeah, I think that is a really cool concept that seems on the surface like it's pretty easy, but the more I started to play with it, the more I really realized the dedication that it is going to take me to be able to perfect it, and to be able to have full control of my triads, right? But we're getting there. Let's see. And once I really started focusing on where those wicks are, there's a lot of it's all about control. That's what everything kind of comes back around for me, is just gaining control and just knowing where all three of my wicks are at all points. And that is pretty hard at the start, because it's just a lot of information to take in. So I think if you can focus on just really trying to visualize those two wicks at those cardinal points, it kind of tones down that need to focus so much. You just really have to practice those reels and keep in control, because the wicks will want to kind of go a little wonky when you are trying to spin them. And so a lot of the practice goes into just you know, keeping control of those wicks as you go around. And it takes a little bit of time, and man, it's a forearm workout, but yeah, it's really cool stuff. Lastly, I did want to try to do that video for fin sparkles. Oh, that's it. So this is another one that kind of learning those cardinal points and just learning how to control your spine grip will help with. Ooh. And this one's not easy. You have to go into buzzsaw, wheel plane, buzzsaw on the other side, spin, wheel plane, buzzsaw 1, wheel plane, buzzsaw 2, wheel plane, buzzsaw. I believe that's it though, huh? Not perfect, but the idea is there. I'm sore. I've been drilling this for over a week now, and whew, it's a good workout. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully this can kind of help y'all just kind of gain control and understand. So far, I'm really just into the theory of triads and just exploring and trying to figure out all this cool new stuff that triads are bringing us. So yeah, see you next time.